Can you see me? Can you hear me? Can I get a 5 by 5? No, because it's going to do that thing that it does where it runs for 30 seconds and then starts over again. Any moment. Any moment now. Can you see me? Can you hear me? Good morning, people. James, 5 by 5. Thank you. We're up. It is the 1st of July, 2024. Within 96 hours or so, reports will start coming in, unfortunately, from the Bear Nation, where people who used to be able to count to 10 can no longer count to 10. And there's, every year, this time of year, the memes start going around on social media. Somebody doesn't know that this weekend is going to be their last weekend with all 10 fingers or whatever. And I guess that's funny, unless you're one of those people that blows your hand off and blows your fingers off, or you happen to own a company called Refuge Medical, where on the 5th of July, your inbox gets swamped with people who sustained trauma injuries due to explosives. And while I'm a big fan of Independence Day, I'm not a big fan of that. And so we're going to lead off the brief this morning with just an ask from me. Please, I love you, babe. I see you later. Please go watch on this channel, Bear Independent Trauma Medicine Playlist. It has the exact same information as our level 1 class at Refuge Medical, responder, massive bleeding, tourniquets, pressure bandages, wound packing, maintaining a patent airway, respiratory, circulation, head injury, hypothermia, lethal triad, acidosis, everything else. It's free. Please go watch it, because you don't know if you're going to be the person that keeps somebody else alive on the 4th of July, Independence Day, or this weekend, or whatever else the world may throw at you. Okay? So I would really, really, really appreciate it. I don't need the views. I don't care. It's not about that. I just don't want good people to get injured or killed. So please celebrate responsibly. Alcohol and explosives don't mix. Alcohol and firearms don't mix. Alcohol and vehicles don't mix. Alcohol and large groups of people and domestic disturbances don't mix. Alcohol mixes with ice if you can hold your alcohol in small group settings with moderation. Okay, please. Thank you. Okay, moving along. It is the 1st of July, 2024. Listen, if you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing, ringing the little bell icon, doing all of those things, leaving a comment for the YouTube algorithmic robots to chew on. It helps them. It helps us in the algorithm. The algorithm hates our guts. It doesn't like us, hasn't liked us for years. So please share the show with somebody you love. The show is brought to you by the creator of the universe, the Lord your God, Yahuwah, your Elohim. Whether you believe in him or not, he believes in you. It's brought to you by the fine people at Patreon. It is the 1st of the month, which means it's a great day to pay your $10 at Patreon, because not only do you get a month's worth of content for $10, you also have access to the over 5,000 videos and live streams in the backlog, and all of the written briefs and all of the Sunday write-ups and all the everything. And of course, it's brought to you by Refuge Medical, for whom I'm the chief shilling officer, also founder and CEO. And that's one of my companies. And we make everything here in the United States of America. And so if you need a first aid kit, one that's going to work, not one sold for $30 on Temu, but a real first aid kit, come check us out. Now, Bear Independent Brief, 1 July 2024. Unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, we need to talk even more about the brief, or I'm sorry, the debate, because everybody else is talking about it. And global implications, China, Russia, Iran and other adversaries are mocking the United States after the debacle that was the presidential debate between Biden and Trump last Thursday. Strategic military intelligence analyst Rebecca Koffler told Fox News that among the media outlets in those countries, quote, every outlet, big and small, carries a piece describing what happened. Some have more than one. Most of them, if not all, are derogatory of both candidates and are mocking America. What Russian President Vladimir Putin is seeing is that the American society is deeply fractured and consumed by its own problems. Putin likely believes that Russia wins either way, no matter who wins, because he expects the U.S. to plunge into chaos after the aftermath of the elections, because the country is so divided and polarized. Bottom line, Moscow feels confident that the societal crisis that has engulfed the U.S. is good for Russia. End quote. Yeah, 100%. Of course, a destabilized or a less stable United States of America is good for Russia because we're fighting Russia on two fronts right now through proxy wars in Ukraine, clearly, and then also in Israel via Israel/Hamas/Iran/Russia. And remember, it's not World War III yet. If only 20 countries are involved in these two proxy wars, then it can't possibly be World War III yet, right? Good morning, Hunter Seeker. Shalom, bro. And good morning to everybody in the chat. I saw you in there, Donnie Darko. I saw you in there. So, of course, it's in Russia's best interest that the U.S. is destabilized. I want to resist the urge to pontificate on what if Putin is saying that the United States will fall into chaos post-election because the Russians have some plan to push the United States into chaos post-election? You know, there's a lot of people. You used to see this. It's quieted down a little bit here lately, but people would say all the time, well, Bear, you know, the global elites, they're Satanists, and part of their doctrine is they have to tell people what they're going to do before they do it, because then that absolves them of responsibility. That shit's retarded. Before I was a believer in Messiah, before I was an ordained pastor, I played drums in satanic heavy metal bands for a decade. That's part of my witness and part of my testimony. And you can just Google Bear Independent Testimony and you'll find my testimony. But I know Satanists. And the idea that one has to tell somebody bad things that they're going to do to them before they do it is complete and utter horseshit. That's make-believe. That's not the case at all. And so I don't think that this is Putin foretelling the terrible things that he's going to do to the United States of America because it's required by some type of religious doctrine that all the global elites adhere to. Doesn't work that way. What I do think is that Russia absolutely has the ability to interfere with elections, and that it's in Russia's best interest that the United States is destabilized. So surprise, surprise. And rather than a big push, I think Russia will more likely gently nudge and poke and prod because at this point, they don't have a horse in the race. Biden sucks. Biden's probably dropping out. That's what we're going to talk about next. And Trump, well, I would like the economy that we had in Trump version 1.0 to return again. Trump didn't exactly have a stellar debate performance either, if we're being completely honest with ourselves. Back to the brief, the debate included the stuttering incoherence from one 81-year-old candidate and wild, fantastic claims from the other 78-year-old candidate. At one point, it even devolved into a debate about who was better at the game of golf. Yes, really. Between Biden's open-mouthed blank expression and Trump's pursed lips, many United States citizens are justifiably alarmed at the current state of politics. In fact, calls for current President Joe Biden to drop out have begun. The New York Times has become the first nationwide paper to call for his resignation from the race, saying it would be the, quote, greatest public service. Other publications from the Wall Street Journal, the Financial Times, the Atlantic have all voiced similar pleas for Biden to step back from the race. The Guardian reported, quote, Biden's poor performance sent leading Democrats into a panic on Thursday night after the U.S. president appeared shaky and at points struggled to finish sentences, end quote. Now, Dr. Jill Biden, his wife, has come out and said, well, he had a little coldy poo. He was a little under the weather that night. That's why his performance was so bad. But he still did a great job, even though, he had a little cold. He had a runny nose. And listen, our grandma lives on property with us. She's 86, 87 years old, and she's awesome. She's awesome. Has the best garden in Bear Camp. Farmer carries water jugs, cooks biscuits from scratch for fun. She's awesome. I in no way want her running the United States of America. And grandma has all of her mental faculties. She's in better physical and mental shape than Trump or Biden. I would put grandma up on a debate stage and let her just beat the shit out of those two guys. She's 87 years old. And people will say, are these the two best candidates we can really find in the United States of America? If you think that candidates are randomly allowed to ascend to the potential throne of the United States of America in this country in 2024, you've still got your blinders on, man. Let the scales fall from your eyes. No, these aren't the best for us candidates, but it's not for us. It's not about us. It hasn't been about us in a long time. Remember, when a president who arguably could be for us shows up and does things that are good for us, they mysteriously get shot. Yeah. So, no, these candidates aren't for us. It's a dog and pony show. Politics it's theater. And these are just the two star actors in the current game of theater that have been selected. Again, I would love the economy to be far better than it is. If I had to compare apples to apples, Trump's economy versus Biden's economy, I like Trump's economy a lot more. I like Trump's border security a lot more. I like Trump's military prowess a lot more than Biden. I like Trump's social initiatives a lot more than Biden. But I don't know. We've been saying this for 5 years. Trump's not the Messiah. And I believe a lot of y'all agree with that. Okay. But I digress. Of course, some citizens simply resign themselves to at least enjoy the comedy of all of it as the nation slowly burns. But allied countries were not so amused. One French media outlet described the debate as a terrible storm, and a German media outlet likened it to a car accident. Former British ambassador to the U.S., Kim DeRock, told Sky News, quote, every answer from Trump, if you listen to them carefully, is a mixture of wild exaggeration and total fantasy. And it's a policy-free zone. So his performance is pretty terrible too. But it was fluent and confident nonsense rather than stumbling, losing my train of thought nonsense, end quote. You guys ever take your multivitamin in the morning and you pound a liter of water with it, and then afterwards you get the multivitamin burps, and it's like, who snuck in here and shit in my mouth? What is going on right now? Horrendous. TMI, oversharing. I apologize. One anonymous former British official spoke to Biden's performance, specifically saying, quote, I was absolutely horrified by how poorly he performed. I thought he might have moments when he would get a name or a date wrong or use the wrong word, but that was just catastrophic. Most people think, putting together the apparent likelihood that he will still be the Democratic candidate and the sheer dreadfulness of that performance yesterday, the chances of a Trump 2.0 presidency have risen substantially in the last 24 hours. And that really does frighten people. I guess it depends on which people we're talking about, doesn't it? Also, anecdotally, if for some reason, just this will apply to 3 of you out of the 1,000, 1,200 who are here. You decide, I've been running companies since I was 17 years old. But I don't have any fancy pieces of paper to hang on the wall that say I know how to run a company. Maybe I'll look into like a bachelor's degree in business or something like that. And then you just happen to Google that from your home computer. I just want to give a shout out to the University of Phoenix, not because they have a great program, but because they have been incessantly contacting me for the last 18 hours. And that greatly increases the likelihood that I will transact 0% with them. They have called me twice this morning while we've been doing this brief, twice in the last 15 minutes. I think I've gotten 4 or 5 emails from them. And of course, since we carry these cell phones around, these 7th generation collection devices, social media now is just filled with advertisements for online business classes and University of Phoenix and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, bro, simmer down. I'm bad at the hard sell. Okay. Like the harder you push, the harder I push back. Oh, and when I was looking at all the different classes that University of Phoenix requires for you to complete for their 4-year degrees, every single one of them required a block of instruction on diversity and inclusion in the workplace. I giggled to myself. I was like, I don't think you guys know who I am, but I digress. So let's see. If you just Google Biden drops out of race, you get, I would never use Google. Okay, DuckDuckGo, Ask Jeeves, whatever you're into. You get myriads of results, but the predominant result is a little bit of rument that's coming from Bill O'Reilly, who, per Bill O'Reilly, on the X platform, formerly known as Twitter, Bill O'Reilly has reported that President Joe Biden has decided to drop out of the 2024 presidential race, citing internal Democratic polling indicating he cannot recover from a recent debate performance and dwindling fundraising. This decision, however, has not been officially confirmed by the White House. The speculation comes amid discussion about Biden's potential replacement, with Kamala Harris being a central figure in these conversations. Now, please run Kamala. Please, because I want to see her debate Trump. And I'm hoping they give him like a vitamin B12 shot in the left ass cheek right before he goes on stage, and maybe some like first form megawatt pre-workout, and he does, I don't know what kind of exercises he's into, but let's just say he throws up like 500 on the bar and just presses out a few reps right before he goes out there and just schwacks the ever-loving shit out of Kamala Harris. I would literally watch that on pay-per-view. Forget broadcast on CNN. I would pay money to watch that. I think it'd be phenomenal, because my expectation is he would utterly destroy her. And put a different hat on here. You're going to pull Biden. Today's my birthday. Happy birthday, Amanda. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Amanda. Happy birthday to you. You look great for 29. You're doing an awesome job. Putting a different hat on here. Biden's dropping out of the race because of his poor debate performance. And your answer is, we'll put Kamala in because she's going to do awesome in the debates. Whatever. But it's like, whose line is it anyway? The rules are made up and the points don't matter. Shifting gears from the MiddleEastMonitor.com, US, that's us. Although the United is an asterisk. More like the States of America. Prepares to evacuate Americans from Lebanon amid Israel-Hezbollah tensions. Now, a lot of y'all have been asking, hey, what's Twitch been up to lately? We haven't seen Twitch in a while. Twitch has a nonprofit called Save One More, and Twitch is providing, through his nonprofit, tactical medical training to people around the globe in war-torn areas. They've been in Ukraine, and I believe, as of yesterday, per a social media post that I saw, they're in Lebanon. And somebody asked on that social media post, "Why are you in Lebanon?" Well, this kind of colors that conversation. In response to escalating hostilities between Israel and Hezbollah, the Pentagon has strategically repositioned U.S. military assets in the Mediterranean on Friday, preparing for potential evacuations of American citizens. The USS Wasp, an amphibious assault ship, along with Marines from the 24th Marine Expeditionary Unit, has joined other U.S. naval forces in the region, preparing for potential evacuations of American citizens and other missions, NBC News reported, citing defense officials. Now, the 24th MEU, this is not the first time they've evacuated U.S. citizens from dangerous places on the globe. That's the globe, the disc, whatever you're into, planet Earth, bear the firmament, the foundations of the Earth. Antarctica is a giant ice wall a mile high that rings the outside of the pizza-shaped Earth. Whatever you're into, bro, I don't care. Okay, so I'll rephrase. This is not the first time that they've evacuated American citizens from war-torn places on Earth, whatever shape you think it might be. Just a question here. We're going to send Marines in, which, good on them. This is what they do. We're going to send the Marines in to get American citizens out of Lebanon due to tensions between Israel and Hamas and Hezbollah and the Houthis and Houthi and the Blowfish and Hungarians and anybody else that starts with an H. What happens? What happens? Do we have the resolve as a country if one of those Marines stubs his toe? Do we turn that place into a wasteland? One of those Marines gets a paper cut. We injure one of our service members during this operation. Do we fight back? They take incoming from Hezbollah. Do we fight back? Because traditionally the answer would be, it's not even a question. Of course we do. We'll bomb that place back into the Stone Age if one of those Marines comes back with a wood chip in his eye or her eye. Right? If we got to crack the plastic seal in a bottle of eye wash, we will erase the family histories of those people. But I don't think we have the resolve as a country anymore for that. And I firmly hope, and I'm not saying this tongue in cheek, I firmly hope that nothing does happen and that this is not an effort to create a casus belli, a black swan event, the sinking of the Lusitania, the Gulf of Tonkin incident, a 9/11, whatever, to get the United States directly involved in what is happening in Israel. It's bad enough that we send our men and women abroad to go fight and die for arguably what haven't been great reasons here in the last couple of decades. If you send them over there purposefully to die so that the upper echelons of this country and this world can get yet another war by which they will extract capital from us, the peasant class. How's your ammo stockpiles? How's your food? How's your water? How are your radios? Because I don't think the American people will stand for that shit anymore. And I will say, if you're going to send the Marines in, let's make sure they've got some good ROEs and they've got cover. They've got air support. Now, allegedly, the 24th has got the Wasp has got F-35s and other assets as well. So, but here's the deal: they're sending in, the Pentagon is sending in the USS Wasp This move aims to deter regional escalation and support potential military-assisted departures. What's a military-assisted departure? That's bringing out American citizens from Lebanon, bringing them back home again, because it's dangerous there. It's going to get worse there. They're expecting. So therefore, y'all can't stay here anymore. Despite the Biden administration's pressure, Israeli officials are committed to targeting Hezbollah in Lebanon and aim to establish a 10-mile buffer zone along the Lebanese border, according to U.S. and Israeli sources. Quote, the goal is to return quiet to northern Israel so that 60,000 Israelis who have left in the past 8 months because of Hezbollah rocket fire can go home, one of the officials said. So notice that it said that the WASP is deploying the 24th MEU, joining other naval forces in the region, preparing for potential evacuations of American citizens and other missions. So, next question. Is the evacuation of American citizens cover for action to go in there and secure this border area so that the Israelis can return to the zone? Are we now sending United States Marines into the region to take and hold on behalf of Israel, and their cover for action is there's American citizens in Lebanon that need to get out? Why are any Americans in Lebanon? Texas Sheep Lady. Great question. Allegedly, there's 15 to 20,000 people, Americans, in Lebanon. In 2022, the U.S. State Department estimated that 86,000 Americans, okay, I was wrong, 86,000 Americans reside in Lebanon. During the 2006 war between Israel and Hezbollah, Washington evacuated 15,000 people from the country. Meanwhile, the U.S. Embassy in Beirut has advised Americans to reconsider travel to Lebanon due to the volatile security situation. Canada is also preparing contingency plans to evacuate around 20,000 citizens. All right, so let's send in the United States Marine Corps and the Canadians into Lebanon to hold a 10-mile wide border region for Israel to get our people out and for the Israelis to get back in, potentially fighting Hezbollah that is supported by Iran, that is part of a proxy war between Russia and the United States. What could go wrong here? I hope nothing. And I mean that sincerely. I hope nothing goes wrong. Not a shot is fired. Not a single safety needs to get moved from the safe position to the semi or full auto position. Doesn't happen one time. Everything's peaceful. That region of the world isn't exactly known for its peacefulness. Now, moving on. Next, from Fox News. Oh, no, I don't want any pop-up Fox News. Suck it. From Fox News, U.S. bases in Europe on high alert for possible terrorist attacks, per the Department of Defense. U.S. military bases throughout Europe have been put on heightened alert status due to a potential terrorist attacks, Fox News Digital has confirmed. Quote, there's credible intel pointing to attack against U.S. bases over the next week or so, a U.S. defense official told Fox News. The official, who declined to be identified because he was not authorized to speak to the media. Don't identify me. I'm not allowed to speak to you. By the way, hey, let me speak to you. Didn't we used to hang people from the gallows for doing that? Wasn't that like a thing that we did? Anyway, the official, who declined to be identified because he was not authorized to speak to the media, did not elaborate on the nature of the threat, but confirmed it was not tied to the French elections. The official said all U.S. military bases in Europe have been placed on high alert, not a lockdown. U.S. bases have raised the status of the alert level to Force Protection Charlie, which means the Pentagon has received credible intelligence indicating some form of a terrorist attack is in the works. The new alerts apply to all U.S. military facilities and personnel in Europe, including facilities in Germany, Italy, Romania, Bulgaria, per reporting from Stars and Stripes. Okay. We have a very wide viewership here at this channel. And so I'm asking you, if you happen to be in a uniform in Europe, can you confirm or deny this? Intel@bearindependent.com. I would love to know what's actually going on. I'm not the media. Don't worry, you're allowed to talk to me. Just tap us out a quick email, probably not from your work computer or from your work email, cut for reasons. Yeah, check it out. Email us, intel@bearindependent.com, please, and thank you. So, U.S. military bases in Europe on high alert. Also, it's the week of Independence Day. And so, if I was a terroristic asshole and I was like, when's a great time to attack the United States of America? This ain't a bad week. It's just dates and times is a thing that they're very into. Kind of like, are you saying like NASA is into dates and times because, Bear, you know about Project Paperclip and Werner von Braun and how the Nazis came over here and, the first Saturn V rocket was just a derivative of the V2 bombs that Germany used to bomb that. I'm super duper aware of all that stuff. And yeah, I know why they like their dates and times. I'm saying that this week would be, from a terrorist asshole standpoint, a great week to attack the United States of America. But the Force Protection Charlie should indicate that they have credible information that an attack is imminent, not that it could happen. Or so the reporting goes. Now, shifting gears again real quick, there's a super interesting article from the Daily Mail here that I thought y'all might find interesting, titled "Christian Warrior Training Explodes as Churches Put Faith in Guns Amid a Surge of Violent Attacks, but Some Congregants Are Worried." And the Daily Mail, if you've ever been on the Daily Mail, is literally 2/3 minimum advertising and pop-ups. It's terrible. And then little tiny text. But I'll have you know, because I love y'all, I have plowed through this article twice. What's up, Buckets and Bibles? I do also want to let you know, if you have a church group or faith group, a church, a synagogue, whatever it may be, and you are concerned about people might do something badly in your church, and you don't know what to do, you don't have a church security team, or you do, but you're not training. If you need some plussing up on that, this may come as a surprise to you, but not only am I founder and CEO of Refuge Medical, I also own and operate Refuge Training, and we've trained many a church security group, and we can bring in everybody from law enforcement to literal operators to help train your church security team. And so if you're interested in that, shoot us an email, sales@refugemedical.com, admin@refugemedical, admin@refugetraining. Shoot us an email. Probably sales@refugemedical is the best way to do that. Another thing I want to point out is that, to the extent that church security teams do exist, typically they're guys who have their concealed carry permits, who have their weapon on them in the church. Smaller groups, say up to 150-ish or so. I would be remiss if I did remind you that it's not just about the ability to make holes. It's also about the ability to plug holes. Sanctified Survival. They only apprehended 8 Tajiks in New York, LA, and Pennsylvania with ties to rhymes with crisis, ISIS. Yeah, we're sure there's plenty more in the US. 100%, bro. And so that's something else we should be thinking about. So Europe is on Force Protection Charlie. What about here in the United States of America? Independence Day is coming. And again, I hope, now hope's not a strategy, but I hope that nothing happens. But there are hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of trained military age males in the United States of America today. And the Democratic Party and Biden and the White House are all in crisis mode post-debate. What a great distraction. Oh no, things are blowing up here domestically. So again, I've been in a lot of churches. We've worked with a lot of churches. To the extent that there's people who are carrying guns in the congregation, great. If you ever had an opportunity to see what our assembly looks like, I'm pretty sure the only people who aren't carrying weapons are the children. every adult, every single adult. Like we've joked about this before, but we'd be arguing over who it was that shot that guy to the ground. It would look like one of those Hollywood movies where the bullets start hitting them and they never fall to the ground. Comma. Just because you have a gun doesn't mean you can shoot it. I was in a mega church in Tulsa not that long ago, and they have a dedicated church security team, overt and covert. And they were all carrying pistols. The auditorium, I guess you'd call it a sanctuary, was at least 125 yards long. And I asked those guys, can you hit a paper plate with your pistol at 125 yards in low light? And they all looked at me like I was crazy. And I said, because that's the longest shot in this room. And that auditorium held easily 2,500 people, maybe 3,000 people. And you're responsible for every round that leaves the end of that barrel. And if you shoot the wrong person because your marksmanship sucks, now what? So I told them, and they didn't love the suggestion, but I don't care. I said, either A, you need to be able to make headshots with your pistol at 100 plus yards, because that's the kind of shot you're looking at in here in low light with the fog machine going and the worship band playing and all of that. Or you need rifles stashed around this place that if you, carbine, Spartan negative, that if you have to make that shot, probably something with an LPVO, that if you have to make that shot, you can. They didn't like the sound of that. I don't care, because facts are facts, right? And so if you have a church security team, you have to be training to a standard. And if you don't, you need to form one. And then part of that standard is not just I can produce and make hits with my pistol. However big your sanctuary is, whatever the longest shot on property is, so that you shoot the guy trying to stab the pastor, not the pastor. Okay. And then you need these. You need bleeding control, preferably without a crooked patch. There we go. That's a little better branding there. You need bleeding control kits, overt and covert. Everybody on that security team should have a slick kit in their pocket or an ankle kit on their ankle at a minimum. And do you have PSD training? Are we going to collapse on the pastor? What are we going to do? Where do we go? Where are we in the building? What is the compass direction orientation of that set of doors right there? Who calls 911? What do we do if somebody walks in here with an AK and starts shooting and there's 9 people who are down? Right? Like nobody has these. Some of them have the bullshit Cintas first aid, the workplace first aid kits on the wall. And the Cintas does have one soft T tourniquet, but it's in a box, a white box amid white boxes that's not clearly labeled, and nobody that I've ever audited knew how to actually use it. So not only do you have to get to the first aid kit, you have to be able to find the tourniquet, pull the tourniquet out, get back to where the casualty is, then apply the tourniquet. It's bad, bro. It's bad. And I'm saying this out of love because I don't want good people to die. And whether or not we agree doctrinally on this book right here, if you are covered by the blood of Messiah and or a child of Abraham, and you're peaceful and you're trying to walk in the ways of the Most High, you're my brother, you're my sister, whether we like each other or not. And We can sit around a campfire and sip a bourbon and argue theology till the sun comes up. In fact, I enjoy doing that, but I don't want you to die. I don't want good people to die. Refuge Medical is about the preservation of life. I don't want good people to die. And trauma medicine is a huge lack in church security. Marksmanship is a huge lack in church security. Situational awareness, internal and external security. Let's solve the problem before there's a problem. Huge lack in church security. If you guys want me to do a series on church security, let me know and I'll put that together. But it's not just I have a gun and I shoot occasionally. The gun is just one small part of the equation. And I would be remiss if I didn't bring up some of these other parts of the equation, because I don't want anybody to have a false sense of security here. Yes, do church security. Please do a series on church security. Yes, please do a series on church security. Please do, Bear. Yep. Yes. Yes, do church security. All right. Making a note. Church security vids. Got it. All right. And again, if you have a church security team and you need some training, from a 4-hour block of instruction to a 5-day class running TAC-Med scenarios through your church with your constituents, Striker Cade, please do that video. I'll pass it on to my Sunday contact and hopefully get them on board. I love it. If you need help, shoot us an email, sales@refugemedical.com. We'll take care of you. We'll come see you. So, to this article from the Daily Mail. Oh my gosh, with the pop-ups. I don't want to buy sunglasses. I have sunglasses. And another one. I don't want to buy handbags. Christian warrior training explodes as church puts faith in guns amid a surge in violent attacks, but some congregants are worried. Church puts faith in guns. Whoa, microphone, simmer down. Gospel of Luke, verse 22, verse 36. And he, Messiah, said to them, but now let him who has a purse take it, likewise also a bag, and let him who has no sword sell his garment, sell his cloak, and buy one. For I say to you that what has been written has yet to be accomplished in me, and he was reckoned with lawless ones, for that which refers to me has an end too. And they said, Master, look, here are 2 swords. But he said to him, that is enough. Here are my 2 swords, Master. One's a Glock 19X with a TLR 1HL, and this other one here's a 5.56 platform, probably a shorty with a pistol brace on it, because we're allowed to do that again, thanks Supreme Court. And a weapons light and a sling and a way to aim that mamma jamma. So, a lot of Christians are like, we don't need guns. We need faith in God. The Levites had swords. Messiah and his people had swords. And there's a really interesting teaching in that. Part of the reason why the Roman governance in Judea was given such a hard look to the followers of Messiah was that in Judea and in Jerusalem in particular, the carrying of weapons was not allowed. Yeah. So much so that the Roman soldiers, when they would do their trainings, would have to go outside of the city because they weren't allowed to carry their weapons inside of the city. So when Peter's like, yo, bro, I got 2 swords, Messiah's like, that's good. Put them away. We got to conceal our swords. Have them when you need them, but keep them concealed due to the political environment that they found themselves in. And it's interesting when Judas goes to Pilate and says, hey, the one whom I kiss is the one to be delivered up, right? And so they're like, yeah, we're going to go arrest this guy. We're going to go arrest this rabble rouser, this Yeshua of Nazareth. Think about this. They say, okay, well, what's he saying? Well, he says he's the son of God. Now, the Romans, polytheistic society, an honest question would be, what God is he the son of? And they answer, Yahweh, Yahuwah. And then Pilate goes, the warrior God? That guy? The guy that split the Red Sea and destroyed Pharaoh? The guy that a single angel, one of his messengers, went in and killed 185,000 Assyrians in one night? He's the son of that guy? Bro. They send 1/10 of a legion. That's 600 men. Why do they send 600 men to the Garden of Gethsemane? Because Yeshua is Yah made flesh, and Yah bodies bad guys left and right, nonstop. Like it begins to make some more sense when you think about it culturally in that day and age. Like he's the son of God. Which God? Yahuwah. Holy shit! Send the 10th of a legion. We need 600 guys to go arrest this one guy. And then if you read the Gospel of Luke, they roll up and Yeshua says, "Who do you seek?" And they say, "Yeshua of Nazareth." And he responds, "I am he. I am the great I am." The same response when Moses asks the Father, "What is your name?" so that I might tell the children of Israel who you are. And the Father says, "I am that I am." And when Yeshua stands up and speaks, "I am he." If you read that portion of the gospel, look at it with your own eyes, it reads as if a nuclear bomb went off because everybody gets knocked ass over tea kettle to the ground when he declares, "I am he." And this is what Yeshua is talking about when he says, "No man takes my life. I lay it down freely." You couldn't take his life if you wanted to. Think of all the power and authority vested in him by the Creator. It's like, you're going to arrest me. First of all, how many times did Yeshua just go out from them when the Jews were seeking to kill him, right? At the temple, because they didn't like his preaching. He was there and gone. And Yeshua went out from them. Dude, he could have just slipped them, no questions asked. Remember on the road into the promised land in Joshua 5, the messenger of the Lord, capital M, Yeshua, this is called a Christophany, meets Joshua on the road. And Joshua says, "Are you for us or against us?" And Yeshua responds to him, "You're for me, homie." And Joshua falls down and does obeisance, worships. And Yeshua says, "I am come now in this form as commander of the host of the heavens." And then when you see him return, Revelation 19, he has a sword and he bodies everybody who's not on Team Yeshua. All the kings, all the leaders, all the commanders, all the politicians, all the bad guys, just wiped out. So, would Messiah carry a sword? Yeah. You see him in multiple places in the Word with a sword. Are we followers of Messiah? Yeah. Implied task, have a sword, know how to use it. Long and short, this article from the Daily Mail, if I had to sum it up in a couple of sentences, basically goes on to say that church security and interest in church security training is on the rise. In 2018, there were 50 church violent incidents in churches. 2019, 83. 2021, 96. 2022, 195. And 2023, 436. So that's a 9x increase in 5 years. So the data is trending upward. And that's the reason that I bring this to you is by and large, this audience, we are people of very deep faith. We are people of the word and the word made flesh. And there are bad actors out there. Read Maccabees, Yehoiada Maccabeus, Judah Maccabee. They attacked him on Shabbat because they didn't think he'd fight back because it was the day of rest. I will all the way spill some heathen blood on Shabbat if you try and hurt the people that I love, day of rest or not. It's lawful to do good on the Sabbath, and defense of life is good. So I'm just kicking that to y'all for your consideration prayerfully. If you don't have a sword, get a sword. If you have a sword, train with your sword. And we are, 3 days out from Independence Day, and there's a lot of bad actors known here in the United States of America. We know they're here. And as I've said before, I think part of the reason why they are here is as a failsafe for the Democratic Party. And the Democratic Party has egg on its face right now. So just head on a swivel, folks. Texas sheep lady, but a pitiful small number of folks are still training. Yeah. Why? Dry fire is free. I do 25 reps minimum dry fire every day, and I carry different pistols. What do you carry, Bear? Well, it depends on what I'm doing. But in the stable is a Glock 43X, a Glock 19, a Glock 19X, and a Glock 17, and a Glock 21. So it depends on what we're doing. Depends on what I'm doing. How loud and proud do I want to be? If I got to wear a suit and hide a gun on me, it's not going to be the Glock 21. If I'm homesteading, might be the 45 because who cares? And they're all Glocks, and they all have Glock trigger presses and Glock sights, but they're all a little bit different. So every time I switch the gun that I'm carrying, I do 20, 25 reps of draw, trigger press, just so that I don't have to think about it. That if I walk out of this door and something stupid happens, I was carrying the Glock 19 yesterday and I'm carrying the 17 today. Oh no, where's my sights? No, you need the automaticity without thinking about it. It's just there. We dry fire in the office at Refuge for fun. It costs no money. You should do live fire training as well. And not just like I stood here and I shot the target, but like with your buddies, with your homies, with your church security team. And if somebody, again, we use this analogy or this scenario, somebody walks into your church with an AK and starts shooting, does everybody on the security team need to shoot back? I mean, step one, eliminate the threat, right? Best medicine is bullets on target. But who is whisking away the pastor? Who is getting people down? Who's calling 911? Who's applying aid? Who's like, and I don't say this to demoralize anybody, but if you have a church security team already, good. You're a step further than a lot of people, but you have to train that stuff. You have to, because the world hates our guts and it ain't going to get any better because the servant is not greater than the master. And the master snitches delivered the master up to his government who killed him. Yeah, that's what happened. So what expectation do we have of everything's going to be fine forever? Jesus loves me. He'll take care of me. The servant is not greater than the master. Look at what happened to the apostles, bro. Well, John lived, on a prison island, turning big rocks into little rocks as an old man. And they killed our king. Exactly. Sanctified survival. They killed my king. What expectation do I have? And if you're listening to all of this and you don't have a king, you're already dead anyway. You just don't know it yet. And that sucks. So submit yourself to the creator of the universe by the blood of the Son. Repent of your heathen bullshit. Act right. That's the show for today. A couple quick updates. Number one, Caleb House, donor matching. Caleb House with a K is our juvenile human trafficking survivor restoration facility, aka the place where we put kiddos back together again after they've been serially raped by assholes. We have donor matching dollar for dollar up to $250K now through the 10th of July. Ends midnight 10th of July. So we got approximately 10 days. Up to $250K. We have hit $200K. We are 80% complete on this goal. Thank you to everybody who has poured in thus far. If the Spirit convicts you, you can find us at calebhouse.org. Badger just put the link in the description. Thank you, Badger. If the Spirit convicts you. If it does not, no hard feelings. No worries, bro. You rescue puppies or serve at a soup kitchen or whatever. Tithe to your neighbor who's in financial distress right now. That's fine. I don't want to be working against the Spirit at all. But if the Spirit does convict you, you can come see us at calebhouse.org. We're one of the few organizations that's actually doing stuff in the anti-trafficking space. Grindstone Ministries. We do disaster relief, pro bono, 100% supported by y'all. If you want to drop a couple bucks in the war chest for Grindstone, you can see us at grindstoneministries.com. All the links are in the description, by the way. And if you need a copy of the scriptures, you can get one at our cost, no markup, at grindstoneministries.com. And if you can't afford a copy of the scriptures, you can just contact us through grindstoneministries.com. We'll send you one for free. There's a guy out there living rent-free in my head right now who loves to show up in the chat. I've banned him several times, and he makes like Facebook posts. He shares the brief, but then says shit like, look at this shill bear asking for people's money again, blah, blah, blah. Listen, everything we do is voluntary. This YouTube show is free. You're not paying for this show. If you want the Patreon content, pay the $10 and you'll get the Patreon content in addition to the free YouTube stuff. If you want to buy a Bible at cost, go to Grindstone and buy it at cost. If you can't afford it, I'll give you one. Because of the monetary support that y'all have put into Grindstone, we've given away more than 7,000 copies of scriptures. Given away. It's voluntary. If you want to support Caleb House, support Caleb House voluntarily. If you don't, that's okay too. If you want to buy Refuge Medical TACMED gear, do that voluntarily. If you don't, okay. I truly hope you don't need it. Statistically, you're going to. You have, based upon our stats of our customers, you have a 1 in 300 chance of using one of our kits. Number of kits sold versus number of kits that have been used to render aid or save a life. You have a 1 in 300 chance. Let me tell you something. There's 365 days in a year. You do the math. So it's not that people aren't having these issues. It's that most people, when they have these issues, don't have a kit, don't have the training, can't do anything about it other than call 911 and pray. And you should call 911 and you should pray, but you should also begin the problem solving right there while the problem's happening in front of you. So everything we do is voluntary. If you want to engage in what we do, if you want to pour into what we do, come see us. refugemedical.com. Your promo code is BearNation for free shipping. HSA, FSA eligible, made in America, guaranteed forever. If you need a large quantity of kits, 10 or more kits. sales@refugemedical.com. I'll put you in touch with either Forrest or with Dawn, our 2 sales reps, depending on what region you're in, and you guys can figure out what you need, what you want, custom kitting, custom patches, custom contents, whatever you're into. We do all that. Simple. It's easy. It's the best. I started this company because I couldn't find a first aid kit that didn't suck. Praise the Most High. Here we are 5 years later. 125 people are still alive because of these kits, and they're on 4 continents electively with all branches of the U.S. Armed Forces. Because I'm a shill, right? Bro, if I live in Oklahoma. If I wanted to be rich, I'd be in oil and gas. Okay? But I digress. My point is, it's all voluntary. You don't have to do any of these things that we discussed at the end of the brief. The brief is free. Everything else, like, how could you? We live in the United States of America, bro. This country was built on blood, sweat, and tears, and ingenuity, and capitalism. And the way, for those that don't know, the way that's supposed to work, not crony capitalism, not fascism, not protectionism, is I produce a product, okay? And this product costs me. It has a cost for me to produce it. Based on that cost, I assign a price to it. The price is what I charge you. And then there's value. And if the value of the product, and you determine the value, tens of thousands of people have determined that the value in a refuge medical kit exceeds the price. So when value exceeds price, people transact. When price exceeds value, people don't. Okay? So we have priced these things with a very, very low markup. I operate Refuge at a 10% profit margin. 10%. Okay? 10. Not 20, 30, 40, 80%, 10%. That's why you won't find these at palmettostatearmory.com or at Midway or anywhere else, because they require a minimum of a 40% markup on anything they sell in order to have it in their catalog. It's just facts. It's the way they operate. We have 10%. And so for making a product in America, employing 26 Americans, providing a living wage for their families, with the best components on planet Earth, with a kit that's guaranteed forever, we produce this kit at the lowest price point we can. And the value is, if you need it and you use it, your likelihood of dying is exponentially lower, because this is a real first aid kit for real emergencies. This one actually has Band-Aids in it, but most of our kits don't, because if I need a Band-Aid, it's not an emergency. Right? This one will do everything. This is the bare min. But the OPFAC has no Band-Aids in it. Because if we need Band-Aids, it's not an emergency. But motor vehicle accident, workplace injury, shot, stabbed, blown up, this is what you want. Because Band-Aids won't fix that. And the value of these kits is that 125 people are still alive. So if you choose to voluntarily engage in the value proposition, wonderful. And if you don't, that's fine too. But keep your damn mouth shut if you don't choose to engage, because unlike a lot of pastors out there, I don't earn a dime from the word, and I don't want to, because I think bad things happen when you mix money and the word of the Most High. Now, you're supposed to, there's a Torah for this: do not muzzle the ox as you tread out the grain. Yeah, but in the pattern of Paul in the New Testament, I'll be a tent maker, bro. I'll pay my bills another way so that I don't ever have to worry about preaching to get paid. Because when you get paid by your preaching, all of a sudden your message starts to change. Less what the Father requires you to say and more what the people in your audience want to hear you say. And that's a losing proposition for me. So, yes, I operate 5 companies and I operate 2 ministries, and the ministries pay me $0, and I like it that way. The companies pay me a living wage so that I can take care of my family. And if you want to plug into that, you can. And if you don't, mazel tov. But in the words of my dearly beloved brother Richard, talk shit, get hit. So I see you. I'm aware of you. And yeah, just saying. With that, shall we talk to the creator of the universe? I think we should. I think it's a good idea. Look at this. Messy hair, don't care. Oh, good morning, Father Yah. Father, thank you for allowing us to wake up today with blood in our body and breath in our lungs. Father, those people over there in the Middle East who are yet again going through some stuff. Father, steward your people, all of the good people who are there, the believers in you, Father. Keep them protected. And the Marines that have to go in there and clean up that mess that a bunch of politicians have made yet again, Father, keep them safe. Father, all of these potential threats that we face domestically and around the world, I pray that you just put your hand on that you would continue to steward your sons and daughters, that you would make us mighty men of you to stand in the gap, that no weapon formed against us shall prosper. And Father, if there be a need for intervention, that you would train our hands to war, and that we would be swift and proficient for the preservation of life. Father, please continue to guide us back to you, regardless of all these things that are going on in the world and all these implications and distractions. Please keep us vertically aligned and rooted in you. Father, let us remember to love you with everything that we've got and to love our neighbor as ourselves to the best of our ability. Father, please provide for all of us today, for our households, our businesses, our ministries. Father, please bless the work of our hands and give us this day our daily bread. Father Yah, please pour out your spirit on all flesh for wisdom and discernment. Put us where we need to be. Let us speak the words we need to say. Let us be a conduit of you for witness and testimony, to reach more people for your kingdom, to bring more broken brothers and sisters back into the house by the blood of the Son. Father, please give us power and authority and strength in the name of Yeshua HaMashiach to be able to do many mighty works in your name. Convict us, move us, put us where you need us to be on the chessboard of life. Father, Yah, please continue to provide peace that surpasses all understanding. Let us stay deeply rooted in you and your word and the word made flesh. Father Yah, be there anything within the sound of my voice that is not of you, we come together in agreement and rebuke it in the name of Yeshua HaMashiach and command it to destroy itself. Father, put a hedge around these people. Remember your children as we remember you. Thank you for being a good father and for unrelentingly loving us and pursuing us and just keeping us awash in your mercy and your grace, and for giving us a model to walk after in Yeshua Messiah.
Father, thank you for his atoning sacrifice, that we might come home again and be in your presence. Thank you for all the things we take for granted every day. And Father, on this day, maybe just slow us down a hot minute, that we would have an opportunity to pause and reflect on the true depths of your provision and your protection and your blessing. Father, we love you. We praise you. And we can do nothing good without you. Thank you for loving us. And ask these things in Yeshua's name. Amen.
Appreciate y'all a lot. Bruce got here just in time for the prayer. Amen. Praise Yah. Shalom, Palmetto. Listen, guys, girls, it's Monday. We got a lot to do today. Go forth, be the light. Carry this good news, this expectation of a resurrection and remission of sin to all nations and peoples and tongues. Do not be afraid. I feel the need to repeat that. Do not be afraid. Fear nothing but Yahuwah, your Elohim. Do not destroy he who can destroy the body. Do not fear he who can destroy the body. Fear he who can destroy the soul. And remember, with all things, seek ye first the kingdom of heaven, and all these things shall be added unto you. Shalom, Brother Bob. Shalom, Brother Hans. I'm going to go get after it. I suggest y'all do the same. Have a blessed day. Shalom.